French Macaron. Very different than the macaroon with 2 O's, okay? That little coconutty, lumpy thing. We're gonna do pumpkin spice latte. It's one of the most technical cookies known to man. Everything we're gonna talk about and all the macaron technique is all about texture. Once you get that right, you open up a whole universe of flavors. Top to bottom, start to finish, probably gonna take you about 4 or so hours. Stick with us. We're gonna walk you through everything you need to know about mastering French macaron. So, for the French macaron, here's what we're covering. Cookie base, baking, ganache or filling, assembly. And we have even deeper content on ChefSteps about every single one of these steps. But the key idea is once you get the techniques down, you can make any flavor you can dream up. It's a really, really fun technical cookie to make. We just happen to be making pumpkin spice latte French macaron. Let's get into this one. It begins. We're gonna make the cookie and the cookie base. Matthew's got his station all laid out here. Should we start with temps partant?
You gotta start with temps partant.
What the f is temps partant? You know, just a French word, part per part.
Equal part almond flour, powdered sugar, sifted, and then you add your dry food coloring.
This is like one of those recipes. You know, everybody's like, oh, why do you have a digital scale? Why do you have to do digital scale? Can you do volumetric? I feel like you could, but it's so precise and so technical. I feel like you're just gonna set yourself up for disappointment and frustration. Remember when we told you can mess up about 100 of those steps? I think by trying to do cups and measures and tablespoons is a big way you could screw it up.
For these cookies, for sure. I'm just gonna whisk this together and then we can give it a second sift.
Look how nice and fine it is. That's how chefs really sieve things. Bang, 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 bang.
We're gonna divide the egg whites in half.
What are you going for?
55 grams, that's a good half. So I've got the egg whites divided, and this portion of egg whites is gonna go in the bottom of a clean and dry stand mixer bowl. It's important to be clean and dry when making a meringue. You don't want any added fats. So we're gonna add this into the temps partant and color.
And again, just a reminder on the color, you're gonna look at it and be like, oh my God, it's so bright and crazy. But you're gonna add a bunch of super bright white foam to it in the meringue, then they're gonna bake, so the color transforms over the whole process.
So that's good. Everything's incorporated.
This is one of those critical control points. To finish the cookie base, you need to cook a syrup perfectly to just 244 Fahrenheit here. And as that's happening, you're whipping these egg whites. They're getting a little bit fluffy. And then as soon as the syrup's done, you start to drizzle in. That cooks the meringue, stabilizes the meringue. And then you got to basically keep whipping this until it cools off a little bit and it's a bit more stable. So this whole thing's nonstop here, this whole process. Matthew's going to show you. But once you start this, you're committed.
So we're making the syrup. We've got the granulated sugar in the pot. We're going to add a small amount of water. I like to add the water right around the edge of the sugar. Nice, gentle, so no sugar goes up the side of the pan. 244 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, not stirring. And some mixing bowls, the whisk doesn't go down to the very, very bottom. So what you can do is just give the egg whites a little mix by hand, make sure they're a little foamy and bubbly, and that helps the mixer whip it into a peak. I mean, that's really all you need. Just a little bit of volume there. Start whipping this on high.
Matthew just set the temperature to 244.
I'm gonna turn this off. We're gonna remove the probe. Or you wanna just go down the side of the bowl.
So all that syrup is going into the meringue, not into the whisk.
That is it.
Okay, this is home stretch. Matthew's got this stiff almond paste, and he's got a very velvety, smooth, delicate meringue, and you gotta get him to get along. So this first scoop, you kind of have to put some muscle into it. And then as you add another scoop and another scoop, you gotta be more delicate, a little softer, a little more folding.
Folding is going around the outside and then into the center.
Yeah, and the goal is incorporating while maintaining as much air. Matthew's got our base, our cookie dough, our cookie batter. We gotta pipe it. Ba, 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 ba.
There's different size tips. This is like a medium size tip.
Check this out though, I think we talked about this in the class. You got your cookie here. If you just start putting batter in, it's gonna start pouring out here. So give it a little twist-a-roo. Then you push this in there, that's your stopper.
And having a little vessel like this to put it into is a big help. So folding the pastry bag over this container is key to keep the ends nice and clean. All right, so I've already untwisted this and pushed up a little bit of the batter into there, but it's key to have this twisted and sealed so nothing can ooze out the end there.
Boom, end of chapter 1. Next up is piping, drying, baking. We're almost there. Told you it's a long journey. First chapter, done. Baking. Where should we start, Matthew?
Making a stencil.
Yes. 2 reasons I think you want stencils or very consistent piping. 1, so they all bake the same time temperature and they bake evenly. But 2, so they're really pretty. You got 2 nice little rounds, nice little sandwich cookie. On the website, in the class, we have a little print. You can print these off. You know, you can buy Silpets that have these. These are a little bit big. And we don't pipe on these, but we put these under the paper so you can stencil on them, you know what I mean? Let's pipe some cookies.
All right, so we're gonna pipe. Pressure, even pressure, into the center. Once I hit that rim, I'm gonna give it a little twist off.
That twisting, you know, or cutting is kind of important. So whether you have like a polycarbonate plastic tip or the smooth metal ones, what you don't want to do, if you go like, oh, okay, I'm done, you pull away, see that? So this little cutoff, that'll smooth out, tap down, but that like big old kiss, that'll never go away. And you don't bang? You don't like banging?
I don't personally like banging.
Let's talk about banging. The banging settles the shell a little bit more. You get a, what's it called, like liquefaction on the top, so the nuts sink and the surface gets all smooth.
Liquefaction. Yeah,
I'm gonna show you what I do for banging though. This is all I do for a few of these. And depending on how liquid the cookies are, they can spread nice and even, nice and quick, but I find you end up with a cookie that's a little bit more flat with a little bit more square edge also. So these corners in the oven, I just do like a little bit of this and then press down. Otherwise that parchment goes like this, blows in the fan often. Just a little bit of that batter to glue down that corner holds it there so the tray and the paper stays super flat. Matthew's been using this pumpkin pie spice
so good.
From World Spice, our favorite spice friends. It's freaking delicious. But you gotta do this when it's the cookie's still kind of a little bit wet. That's why I'm gonna just get on top of it here. Here's the thing, once you pipe, you have to let these hang out and rest before you bake them. If you bake them fresh right now, the cookies can do one of these. They just puff up like a regular ass cookie. If you want them to rise and souffle vertically and nice and square, so you get that foot, you get that nice macaron cookie, you have to develop like a little crust or a pellicle on the outside. In baking, you call it case hardening, so the exterior is dry. The pressure and the steam pressure can't get through that, so the pressure has to go somewhere and the whole cookie lifts up. But how do you know?
You do not want this where it sticks. You just want to be able to gently touch it. If it's dry, it has a pellicle, you're ready to bake.
Whatever oven you have, we're gonna show a few on .com. We're gonna show all the different ovens because it doesn't really matter. You gotta dial in your own oven. What's been your average time temperature that you've been working with for these?
For my success rate, it's a 2 temperature. I start out a little bit higher so I get a nice spring, and then I drop the temperature down. I also start with a little bit of a fan, and then I turn the fan off after a few minutes.
With these cookies, we're trying to souffle them and get rid of a bunch of humidity in the oven because as they puff, they're gonna dump humidity. But if you had a bunch of trays in the oven and they're all dumping humidity, what's gonna happen is they can soften up and you lose a nice souffle too. So generally I like to bake 1, 2, usually not more than 2 trays at a time, depending on your oven.
Let's go.
Ba-ba-da-ba-bam.
Just monitor the cookies. If they start to rise on one side, you might want to think about just giving it a slight rotation to kind of even out the rise. There's always going to be a couple cookies that just don't make the cut. Those are snacks. Timer went off. We already know that this is the right time. We've tested out our cookies, so we're taking them out.
Coated hot.
So you gotta let them cool before we fill them. You wanna wait at least 20 minutes to remove them from the parchment paper. It could take upwards of an hour to completely cool.
We can cover this while they're cooling and just chat about it. This is the cookie. If you just pipe it and bake it, it swells up. So as the foot's puffing out, the cap's also puffing out. This one dried a little bit longer. He also banged this one a little bit too, so it's got a little bit flatter of a cap. And then this one is kind of what you're going for here on average. It's got a nice matte finish, still crispy. Souffle is mostly puffs up. All this has to do with that resting right before the oven. This is what you're looking for. So if you do this, your cookies end up like this. They were too wet. They need to dry longer or rest longer before they go in. And this is almost there, and this is pretty much, spot on. All macarons need a filling. That's where all the flavor comes from. Again, on ChefSteps.com, we can show you how to make so many different types of jams, caramels. We even do a corn caramel or a corn ganache. Right now, Matthew's gonna walk you through exactly how to make a pumpkin spice latte ganache.
Ganache is a mixture of cream and chocolate. We've got a nice white chocolate that has 35% cocoa butter. So we're gonna start off by heating the cream, liquid glucose, and pumpkin puree. We're gonna bring this mixture to a boil and just stir it all together. It should come to the boil within about 3 to 5 minutes. Then we'll add the rest of our ingredients, the white chocolate, the pumpkin spice, the instant coffee, and a little bit of salt. And we're just gonna gently stir this until the chocolate is melted, so I don't have any more white chocolate streaks or lumps in there. And once you get your ganache nice and smooth, then you wanna pour it into a container or vessel to cool. Right now it's very fluid and very hot, so you can't fill a cookie with that, so it has to set and cure. We want to put a layer of film or parchment on the top to minimize air contact. Pop that in the cooler. It takes about 2 hours to set. We don't want a skin to develop.
We baked our cookies. Matthew baked them to perfection. But the key thing here is cool to room temperature cookie, pair them up, fill them, Sammy them. Then they gotta rest, hang out, meld, or sit until the next day even in like a safe, cozy environment. So the textures can become one.
They are delicate cookies, so when you fill them and press them together, you just need to press them together gently.
Not like this.
You don't want to smash them down. You end up cracking one side or the other, or both. So we match up the cookies.
If everything worked out, they should kind of come off like this.
Just like that,
Like
yeah.
they're sticking, but barely. And here's the other thing, how you know you did it right. You look at the bottom and you see how this is a smooth bottom. You have a smooth working surface to pipe your filling, set your filling. That's when you nailed it. Again, we talk about all these ins and outs and troubleshooting on ChefSteps.com at the Macaron class. So let's match them up. If you see this, see they're slightly different size. That's okay for the batch. But if I put these cookies together, Judy gets like crazy. I know this is like not that big of a deal, but this would freak me out. If somebody gave me this macaron, I get so upset. They're like, they don't even care about me. See, so we just match them up. That way each one is perfect. It's not like the whole batch has to be identical. They're all unique in their own way. Once you have these pairs, I just do this as like assembly line style. So I got my pairs and then I match, match, match. Done.
So we're assembling. We're gonna agitate the ganache just a little bit to thicken it up, make it more pipeable. Just give it a slight agitation, just to where it's thick and pipeable. And I think that's about it right there.
Yeah. This is the one part of macaron that I don't measure. I just go by eye. What I look for whenever I'm piping, again, whether it's a jam, ganache, caramel, whatever, I like to do a nice big ball that has round edges. That way when I press the cookie, those round edges come out and it adds to that like nice anatomy when you're looking at that, the morphology of a macaron. You can fix a lot too. Like if I go, oh crap, that one's off center, I can come back, separate this guy, bring them back together so it's more centered. Ooh, yeah, just like that.
So from here, you want to chill them, you want to wrap them, or put them in some kind of a container that's protected from the airflow in the refrigerator and from flavors coming in.
We just finished assembling our fresh batch of macaron. This is a rested one from a totally different batch, but I just want to show you, like, if you make a bunch of these fresh ones and you bite it or break it, I'll just show you breaking it. Watch this. So I break this guy. See right off the bat, everything comes out the side. It's not a bad cookie, but everything comes out the side, kind of falls apart. This one has a better bite to it where they come out more homogeneous as like an actual texture experience. Basically, you just learn how to make the ultimate French macaron. These things are freaking epic. They take a lot of practice to get down, but even like little tiny detail techniques, all these different flavors, some variations, troubleshooting, you can get all that at ChefSteps.com. We've got a whole macaron class that's been around for many years now. We've actually got a really amazing community in this class. It's been around for probably like 7-8 years or so that they've been bouncing off ideas, creating their own flavors. That's it. Ultimate French macaron. Pumpkin spice latte this time. Do you think the French hate us for pumpkin spice latteing their beloved prize pastry? Oh my God, I don't think so either. Okay, true story. I've actually never had a pumpkin spice latte.
Sweet.
Holy God, that's sugary. I'm done with this.